The year was 1914. A single shot echoed through the streets of Sarajevo, setting off a chain of events that would lead to the deadliest conflict the world had ever seen, World War I. The man behind that shot was Gavrilo Princip, a name etched in history as the spark that ignited the war. But after the assassination, one question remains. Where did he go? What happened to the man who changed the course of history? Gavrilo Princip was born into a world of political turmoil. The Balkans, known as the powder keg of Europe, were simmering with nationalist movements and tensions between empires. Princip, a Bosnian Serb, was deeply influenced by these ideas. He joined the Black Hand, a secret nationalist group determined to free the Slavic people from Austro-Hungarian rule. His mission? To assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. On June 28, 1914, Princip and his fellow conspirators waited along the route of the Archduke's motorcade in Sarajevo. After a failed attempt earlier that day, fate handed Princip another chance. The Archduke's car made a wrong turn, stopping right in front of Princip. Seizing the moment, he fired 2 shots, killing both the Archduke and his wife, Sophie. The world would never be the same. But Princip's story didn't end there. Immediately after the assassination, he was captured and arrested. Due to his age, he was just 19, Princip avoided the death penalty, but he was sentenced to 20 years in prison, the maximum sentence allowed for someone under 20. Princip was sent to their Scienstadt prison in modern-day Czechia. His conditions were brutal. The Austro-Hungarian authorities, furious over the assassination, made sure his life was miserable. He was kept in solitary confinement, often chained to the walls, and given barely enough food to survive. Over time, his health deteriorated rapidly. Tuberculosis and malnutrition took their toll, and he lost the use of his right arm, the very arm that had fired the fatal shots. On April 28, 1918, less than 4 years after his infamous act, Gavrilo Princip died in prison. He was just 23 years old. His body was so emaciated that he weighed only about 40 kilograms, 88 pounds, at the time of his death. Buried in an unmarked grave, Princip faded from the world, but his actions lived on, having triggered a war that claimed millions of lives. But what if Gavrilo Princip had survived the war? What if he had lived to see the world he helped to create? Would he have become a symbol of the nationalist cause? Or would history have judged him differently? These are questions we can only speculate on. Gavrilo Princip's story is a haunting reminder of how a single act can alter the course of history. From an idealistic young man to the most famous assassin of the 20th century, Princip's life was short, but his impact was immeasurable. As we look back on the events that led to World War I, we remember not just the grand narratives of empires and nations, but also the individuals whose actions, for better or worse, changed the world. What do you think? Was Gavrilo Princip a hero, a villain, or simply a product of his time?